Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday. I'm putting up the video a little earlier today, hoping that you'll be able to see it before this evening and you can be ready for Unit 5 as we're wrapping up Unit 4. I looked at your discussion questions. You guys did a great job talking about entrepreneurship and different entrepreneurs. And I'm going to tell you a little bit why about I picked Al Copeland to discuss. Al Copeland, as you noted, is from New Orleans. Al Copeland was legendary in New Orleans, and he was, I said, larger than life, quite a colorful character. Lots of scandal around him in his personal life, and some hardships when he expanded Popeyes to buy Church's Fried Chicken. He over leveraged, which happens sometimes with businesses when they just get too big too fast. They over leverage and they end up losing the business. But he did keep an element of it, and he did keep the Copeland's name and the Copeland's restaurant chain. And if you've never eaten at a Copeland's restaurant, it is delicious, but you have to like spicy food. Wonderful recipes, great food. So we're going to talk this week about ethics. I know some of you have children. Sometimes it's hard to keep the children. My four-legged one's quiet. Anyway, Al Copeland started his restaurant in a little town called Araby, which is New Orleans, Araby, Chalmette, which is where I grew up. And they all flow together. So Araby is a suburb of New Orleans. It's probably about 15 minutes from Canal Street. It was a little restaurant, and a couple of other businesses had failed there. And he decided to put his Popeyes Fried Chicken there with his spicy recipe that he worked with Warren LaRousse, who was a restaurateur, who owned a five-star restaurant in the city. And they developed the biscuit and the chicken recipe. The building was so small that it had counter-only service, and you could probably fit 5 or 6 people in there on a good day, if everybody squeezed in tight. And they served a lot of chicken out of that restaurant. Unfortunately, now, even the iconic building, the little building, Popeyes in Araby, was a victim of Katrina. And the only thing that's left is the slab, and you can still see the red tile floor sitting on the slab. Lots of memories there, lots of memories of standing in line to get Popeyes Fried Chicken. So that's entrepreneurship in a nutshell. It's somebody who had a dream, fought for their dream, had some setbacks, and carried on and is now legendary. Sadly, he died of cancer, but his children are still running the organization, and it is quite successful. The Copeland's restaurant chain is very successful in this area. They spread out as far as Dallas and Atlanta, I believe. So if you ever have a chance to go eat at Popeyes or Copeland's. We're all about the food. Okay, let's talk about ethics. Ethics. We're going to talk about ethical decision-making in an organizational setting. We're going to talk about organizational responsibility of stakeholders. So we're thinking about what is a stakeholder. A stockholder is a stakeholder, but there are many other categories of people who fall into stakeholders, from the employees, the owners, the customers, the suppliers, the people who are involved in the community. If a large employer closes in a small community, the stakeholders of that community, because it's going to totally turn their economy upside down. And we're going to talk about social responsibility on a global scale using social media platform as an example. So you can think about social responsibility of a company like Ben & Jerry's. Ben & Jerry's has a large presence, and they are very, very involved in social responsibility. Whole Foods is another example. I always have food examples, you notice. So that's what we're going to talk about. All right, our activities. Always read and review and view your readings and resources. Actively participate in the unit discussions. And you have a Unit 6 assignment next week, and we'll talk about that more next Sunday. So in this unit, we talked about ethics and the effect it can have in an organizational setting. We're going to talk about ethical responsibility. We're going to talk about an organization's obligation to its stakeholders, and sometimes those are competing, because what is good for the community may not be good for the stockholders, because it might involve something environmental, for example, that will make the company more profitable, but it will endanger the lives of the people in the community. So we're going to talk about that kind of thing. Think about and discuss. Have you experienced a time where you question an organization's ethics, whether in a business or personal setting? This is one of my personal things. I have a problem with allowing the highest level people, and I know it's a perk of the job, the highest level people to park for free in a downtown setting, but the people who can't afford it have to pay. And there's something a little whacked about that, but that's the way it is. And you just wonder, it's salaries. When you have a great imbalance in salaries, is that really ethical? When an organization does things that kind of skim the edge, and a lot of them do it. So let's talk about that. And if you need to blind the information about the company because you're sharing something that, might be a little bit, not indiscreet, but that you don't want everybody to know about which company it was, you can blind the name of the company. Discussion form 5.2, social responsibility. Is there a specific incident you can recall that social responsibility was an issue? You could also talk about, I know we talked this week about shirts for an autism walk. That's social responsibility, sponsoring those type of things. How does social media have an influence on decisions regarding ethical perspectives, especially where social responsibility is concerned? So think about how have things changed since the advent of social media? Back in the day, you got information about companies a couple of ways. You got it through the newspaper, you got it through the TV, or the radio. And it was lagging information. So now we have this 24-hour news business, and we know everything that's going on, and things pop up on social media that you know about right away. So, and then all of the dirt on businesses, like, let me give you another example. There was a big battle between Blaine Kern, who's older now, and he is the big Mardi Gras flip maker, between he and his son Barry. Big battle, and it was all over social media. Was it really anybody else's business? Not really, because it was a business issue among the family, but it was all out there. So let's talk about social responsibility and the media. So here are your reminders. Your initial post is due Wednesday, July 24th. You should have 3 responses to peers per discussion forum question. You need to post on 4 different days. So let's say you post your early bird and you post on Monday or Tuesday. Then I'd like you to come back on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday or Sunday and post responses, because that's when everybody's starting the conversation and really getting the ball rolling with some good discussion. Always use good grammar, and I showed you guys how to use Grammarly. I hope you have it installed on your computer, and remember, because I can give you a second chance of information if you're a good video watcher, that this week, if you send me, and somebody's already sent me their screenshot of their Grammarly, you send me a screenshot of where your paper went through Grammarly, and you will earn 5 bonus points. Make sure you answer all parts of the question. I'm going to post my PowerPoint. I would advise you to take the slides where I talk about the discussion forums and lay them down next to your computer as you're working and go check, 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 instead of trying to flip back and forth and do different things with them. So I'd advise you to do that so you can see it right in front of you while you're typing. So today I'm going to wrap up with a little grammar tip. And I find this is a very common problem, and I have to double check myself on it too. So the words affect and effect. The majority of time you use affect as a verb and effect as a noun. Affect can either mean to influence or to act in a way you don't feel. So you could always say there's a common way, someone has a flat affect. When someone has a flat affect, they don't show much emotion or very much vitality or vibrancy in their life. Effect typically means as a result. And I got this from Grammar Girl. Grammar Girl has some great tips, and I put the link down there, quick and dirty tips. And there are times when I need to double check something, I'll go and look at what Grammar Girl has to say, because it's easy to read and really practical examples. So here's the affect and effect, with a little aardvark, a little blue aardvark. So you see the arrow coming. The arrow affected the aardvark by getting him in a very sensitive area. And when it hit him, the effect was eye-popping. So we don't know if that was Cupid's arrow or what was hitting him, but it was eye-popping. So the arrow is making the movement. The arrow has taken action, and now we have the result. So affect, effect. The other word I want to talk about, I don't have a PowerPoint on it, is there and there. 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 Think here with a T, location. There with an I, T-H-E-I-R. Think about the I as a little person. So that's how you could tell. And then T-H-E-Y apostrophe R-E, I'm sorry. They are. If you're trying to say they are, it's T-H-E-Y apostrophe R-E. Very common to mix up, but always think their, person, I. Just a little trick, we got to have these little tricks to remember things. I still do. 30 days has September, April, June, and November. That's how I remember how many days in the month. You got to keep that stuff in your memory. All right, we are at the halfway point, guys. Halfway through the course, the weeks are rolling by quickly. So if you have missed some assignments on the front end or missed some discussion questions, make sure you pick up the pace in the next 4 weeks because they're going to roll fast as anything. And the next thing you know, we're going to blink an eye. This unit will be over. The course will be over. Your kids will be going back to school. It'll be fall. And Hobby Lobby already has Christmas stuff out. Be prepared. So I have enjoyed working with you so far this course. We've had a great discussion on different topics. So let's keep up the ball rolling, and let's move forward. You guys take care, and I hope you're not under a monsoon like I am right now. Take care. Have a great week. If you have any questions, contact me. And somebody asked my email. Let me give it to you right now. I didn't put it in the slide either, but I'm going to give it to you. It's Jeannie, Jeanne, .Wilson, Wilson, 2, number 2, at jefferson.edu. So you can always reach me there. If you need to text me, I have my number in my information, but it's 504-453-2894. And Jazzy's getting wound up. So I'm going to wrap up this video. You guys have an excellent afternoon and take care.